Wait. Well, let this camera on. I can't let my viewers see this. Attention viewers, I'm now halfway through the development of Sparky, so now it's time for Daniel's Midway. God damn it! How does main Dan expect me to edit his stupid videos if they're not even going to work properly? Alright, here we go. Ow! Alright viewers, Dan has put down the glue gun to answer some questions for us. Welcome Daniel. First off, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be here. Thanks Jane, and don't worry, I'm glad that I'm happy I can be on TV. Do I look like Jane? Never mind. So you're about to start placing Sparky's Mache coat on, correct? Could you explain this process to us and why we're doing it? Sure, just give me a moment to set everything up. Alright, so in order to mache Sparky, we need to first make a said paste. For that, we're going to take this basin, no, this is just a bucket, some water, and then the magic stuff, aka solvite. Pop it in like so, hit the bucket of shake, and then boom, we got our paste. Then we're going to take strips of newspaper, apply the paste on the newspaper, and then stick it on like I'm imaginarily showing. Now the reason why we're doing this is that we want Sparky to look realistic, so the mache will help in both design and appearance. Next after that, we're going to repeat the process for about 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how long it takes until we can't see the cardboard underneath anymore. And then after the 5th or final week, we're going to use more stronger paper to go over the newspaper, to cover up any creases or stuff that the newspaper might have left behind, and to help strengthen the mould. Right then, that concludes the mashing process of Sparky in a nutshell. Brilliant. Now what was the reason, or perhaps inspiration, that led you into making Sparky to begin with? What led me into making Sparky to begin with? Well, I suppose it's more pure coincidence and wanting to help out. Back at the previous studio we were based at before this one, I came into the studio one day and I found you working on Sparky. That I wasn't aware of before, and so based on the time, I wasn't doing much, and I was generally helping out with whatever stuff for you. So inevitably, I decided to chip in and help out. Fast forward to now, little did I realise it would become such a major part in where I am right now. On this topic, and remembering how your bronze was like, you appear to enjoy making Sparky more now, finishing him off for silver. Can you expand on that at all? Okay, so this one's going to be a long one to explain, not just because of its length, but in trying to understand. So bear with me, because as well as what I just said, it also covers a lot of emotional, mental stuff from my past. All right then. Okay, so I made a script for one day. I was asked about this due to the story being too long to explain fully, and thinking about it causes my brain to switch up as a form of mental cupping on the subject. So to start with, for the first roughly 5 years ago after leaving college, 2017, 4 years of that time I had trouble working through stresses and worries left over from when I was still attending, which gradually got bigger over time as different thoughts came to mind. Related, but mostly not related. During the roughly 4th year, I managed to clear all that from my past and started focusing on my future to come, by which I was already working on Sparky. Fast forward to the middle of the 5th year, aka 2022 summer, I started getting overwhelmed mainly with the work amount on Sparky, and especially on the evidence editing stage. My main reasons were, during the years it took to clear out my head and my present age, I felt I needed to get on with life. When the work overload started, combined with also as mentioned, I felt stressed, worried, depressed, and most importantly burnt out.
Fast forward to now. Things have worked out in the end, and so far, I think I'm doing better now than I did on bronze. Alright, so we just had to have a little placement move with others working behind you. I've just noticed some changes have not been made on his head that were not included during a time lapse. Could you explain why and what they're supposed to be?
Okay, sure. Let's see. So to start with, we have the antenna. Based on the scene, it suddenly appeared during my work on the face. While I was making the original antenna based on Sparky's design, I wasn't sure how to make it, so I went with this one instead. Note I had some help to make it because I've never done anything like anything that involves metal twisting before, so theoretically, it would have been quicker just stick with that. So because of that, I decided to work on it away from the camera. So yeah, the antenna is supposed to be one of those kind of ones that have a spiral top and slowly get thicker towards the middle and then lower towards the end. As for where it sits in, because something else I didn't foresee when sticking it in, for instance. Although it's very thin metal, it's still metal at the end of the day. So I had to use a lot of glue to stick into place, so it didn't keep falling down off his face. And then I patched it up with some cardboard to make it look more the part. I think that's for everything for that. Now then, after I've done all my current time lapsing on the face, upon realizing that Sparky's nose, lower face area has a nose that needs to come out and be emphasized more, I decided to stick loads more cardboard down because realistically, although I say and I've led myself to believe Mache will fix everything, I'd be asking for a very big miracle to make a nose equivalent of Mache get stuck into this position, something like that. So yeah, it was realised afterwards on design. Now then, as for the sides, very similar to the nose. Upon finishing that, I realised that for the general Sparky, although there's going to be a few parts here and there that the Mache that is really not going to be able to patch up or solve, or make more realistic or detailed. So the cardboard here is to extend his robotic cheeks, I guess, out further, because Sparky's lower head has more of a ovalish cone stretch out more than just a flat face. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess.
Agreed. The little touches to the side and the nose really help finish him off. Plus, he's going to look really good once paper mache'd.
Thanks. While we're here, something else I just want to address because I won't have a chance to say this later. Before the camera starts back on, people may notice a bunch of different hair hinks and tweaks. I may have changed, like on the legs and on several other parts. Upon what I just said with the head, I'm thinking of adding some more cardboard to several spots to help with the structure and to help with the design and structure of how the mashes should be covering each of the parts. Less work and more efficiency, I guess.
Sorry, I just want to ask one quick final question, because we're running out of time. Before Sparky, how did you get into digital arts and model making to begin with?
Sorry. How did I get into it? Just like I was explaining in question 2, I think it was, where it really was a matter of coincidence how I started with this. It's the same principle, but it's a lot more hilarious. So I never really so digital arts kind of like grew onto me. By that I mean, before I came here into the third year. Into one of the years, second or third one, I think it was, when I wasn't doing anything before Arts Award. I had someone help. I had I'm not sure what they called workers that get people into doing things rather than sitting at home. Sparky came up on one of them. So long story. So fast forward to all of now. It was steadily built up over time. My interest in digital arts. Well, that could be, but I suppose in a way it could be the reason. Just being at the studio, showing interest, maybe having a career out of it, etc. But to me, I'm not sure, but to me I can't see it, and it's more like a hilarious coincidence. And as for model making, technically speaking, this is technically the second time I've ever made an actual model, especially on this scale, ever in my life. Everything I've done on Sparky since I first documented and shared with On Bronze has all been of my own self creativity and what naturally came to me while replicating our glorious mascot.
Alright, Daniel, thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you and getting Sparky towards this point. Although, as you mentioned, you've had some mental difficulties. I believe it's safe to say that it's all been worthwhile now. Right then, good luck with the rest to be done, and we'll let you get back to your work now.
Thanks, Jane.
Okay, that's it. Get out of my sight.
Thanks, everybody. Trust me, I know what you're thinking, and I can assure you, I have no idea why I decided to do that. I just thought it'd look cool. Aside from that, we are now ready to start the mache process. Yep, I know, who would have thought? So the mache process will take about 2 to 3 weeks. The first 2 weeks being to buy a paper coat on to seal up the cardboard, and the third layer, the more harder paper, as I've explained this all already. Now then, just want to take you on a close-up view of the first stage we're going to be working on.
So to start with, we're going to be sorting the joints, then connected to the legs, and then all the way down towards Sparky's feet. Now for this section, I'm expecting it to be the hardest part to mash it over due to various smaller different sized pieces compared to the rest of the model, which is generally larger and less complicated to structure over. As everyone will know, the joint is made up of different sizes and different lengths, with each joint and leg and feet not being the same in height, size, and design. Now, because I haven't done this before or in a long time, it may be harder to get behind the back, but this is all just a learning curve. So I wish I could be more descriptive about this. I'm sorry, I've run out of things to talk about other than looking at the unique shape that each piece I create. Because stuff like this I did not originally foresee, plus it being my first time. And furthermore, apologies to my viewers who have to listen to my very noisy colleagues in the room because I don't have a quiet studio for working on models. So yeah, that and the other two on the back is what we're going to be mashing for this first part. Once that's done, then I shall follow up with the body, the head, with the body, the tail, and the head to be made.
All right, folks. Now, originally I was going to use Solvite to mash in a model, but after some inspiration and feedback from the people around me, I've come to conclusion that there is a better solution for getting my objective done. Now, on my right, we have my image of Solvite. Based on the said image, the wallpaper paste has gone lumpy due to not following the full procedures as how you normally do it, and it's taken a long time to knead it, etc. And I've also discovered that it is also the result of a very wet version of the normal paste you use for mashing. And I've discovered from my test example to my left that it's still incredibly wet, and to the point where it might be damaging the cardboard a bit too much 20 or 30 minutes on after testing it. So therefore, onto my left, as you can see somewhere in front of me, I've adapted to PVA glue instead of water, and it's given me much better results. And apparently the process also involves taking a brush and smearing it on like so instead. Now don't know much difference, which I'm not sure why I'm picking this up, but because I'm not needing to use so much by using a brush, I believe. Yeah, it's holding better, and it's just better. I didn't plan this audio. I didn't plan this audio out. Despite everything I said in my previous video, and I'd be using PVA glue instead of sulfite. So yeah, more work for me. Really, in just a short moment.
Okay, so as you can see, I have now finished the mache process for the first layer of paper for the joints and all the way down towards his feet. Now during this process, there was pros and cons that I've learned that I wasn't originally expecting. Pros being that, well, the method of getting on and applying it on didn't originally take as long as I was originally expecting, and it all slowly began to stick into place much better than I was expecting. The downsides being is that, although from what I've learned, the mache has still left riggeds and edges instead of that I was originally hoping to smooth out through this process, and in addition, lumps and bumps that that were left behind during the time when I was hot gluing everything to the ends of the earth. So hopefully I'm going to smooth all that out during the second layer, or hopefully cover up as much as I can during the time when I use a more harder paper. Moving away from that, next we shall focus on the tail, his general body, and towards his head. Now as for the tail, this will be the second, or what I'll learn to be the most hardest part of machining Sparky so far, because although the technicality on machining it will be a bit more fiddly and harder to reach, from my experience, from what I've learned so far,
Yeah.
from what I've learned so far, it should go more easy than I was expecting to reach the harder areas. As for the body, it will all be self-explanatory, really, or what I'm hoping anyway. Only things to consider will be like where the wood reaches along the areas like here. Now as for the head, there'll be a mixture of different parts that will be easy to mache, and parts that are a bit more harder to reach. And overall, unless I'm going art mad, I'm not entirely sure how the head process will go down, but we'll see. Okay, viewers, sorry to stop the process again, but I recently had a chat with one of the parents who comes with their kids to the studio, who is, in my opinion, a master in mache art, and we discussed some practices from her experience, and which I've decided to implement and change in order to make Sparky better. Now, up until now, I've been using somewhere in the 50-50 in consistency between water and PVA glue in order to mache Sparky, but I realised that this is too watery and it's not being sticky enough, so it's been changed to more of an 80-20, so it's primarily just more glue now, which I'm now going to give you examples on. Now, as you can see for this, now as you can see on this example, well, if you can see, the entire area on the top is more holded. There, I'm sorry. It's more flattened down now and harder to get hold of or peel from underneath. This is the example that she showed and demonstrated to me on what difference it makes using more glue over water. Now, as for one of my legs that hasn't been changed yet, here we see that the paper is not fully down on the edges and is more peelable and able to reach. This is a problem. I realise that this is a problem now, because although it may not matter so much on this side, if when this is all done,
what I call bubbles may start to form within the mache paper or edges that have not been completely covered over. And well, really, I should just be saying, when I come to painting it, these areas may get caught over, or lumps will form on the body, which realistically is not practical, because you don't want your because you don't want your robot looking lumpy or with sharp edges. Generally, that's the idea around that, and using the said paste where to not only when I place it on, but also make sure I smother it on until it's what looks like it's dripping, to make sure that it not only steals in place but also seeps into the layers that connect it all, to make sure the inner areas are really not going anywhere. Oh yeah, when I was talking to the parent on said day about my mache practices, we also discussed ideas that she had based on her experience, and there's something else I'm gonna change on the mache process of Sparky. When I come to putting on the third layer, aka the hard layer, I'm also going to put on a layer of PVA glue, which is me. So I'm hardly going to be using water for this process to go all across the Sparky, covering all the paper but inside it in a more harder shell, for as the name suggests, and also I'm hoping will give me the realistic hope that I visioned on making the shape more realistic and less cardboard-like. But that's what I'm hoping, because realistically, I can't remember the other reason, if there is one right now, as to why I'm suggesting this, but that's what I'm going with. So apologies for that. Now, away from this, the back is now on as people can somewhat see. So now I'm going to do the rest of the body and then work on his neck and head, and then, as I was planning to anyway, update you all once I get to that part. Now then, if you excuse me. That's okay.